All right. We are in the house with Reality Amanda.
Woohoo.
Amanda's here. Sarah Howe from Reality T Squad, and James from My Take on Reality. We thought we'd do a little something different just because some folks have been talking about it. So not only are we going to cover the Sister Wives episode where everybody gets married and Robin and Cody unite their bond and form the Legion of Doom together, but we're
Finally.
also right.
They've been
We're
waiting
also
7 whole episodes.
right. Exactly. It seems like forever. It
Yeah.
took them forever to get married. They just couldn't wait. Apparently,
I
they
know.
were so deeply in
The
love.
longest courtship in polygamy
Right.
history.
Right. A whole like 7 months. It was
So,
ridiculous.
yeah.
Well, I mean, apparently they didn't wait for everything. But we're also going to be covering Seeking Sister Wives, just talking about that as well. But before we get into it, we want to put together a little something. We'll do the intro, and then we'll come right back after.
Don't you think like that? I will love you endlessly. If you only believe me, don't you think like that? I will love you endlessly. If you only believe in me, yeah.
Let's get it.
I
All
love
right.
it. That was so good.
All right.
I am in awe. Also, I need to give you a higher definition picture of myself.
Yes, yeah.
I've never
See,
been
that's-
like in an intro before.
Well,
I felt like I was in a sitcom.
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. We'll put it together. Hopefully, it'll be some good times today. Everybody will be having some fun. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Most definitely.
So,
I mean, how could you not after that?
Yeah, I am pumped and I'm ready to rock.
yeah, right. So let's get it.
Yes.
You should have seen the. I had a lady who I kind of liked. I was like, maybe I won't do it, but it's like an older lady, like, yeah. She's got the sweatsuit on, wearing a little bit of drip. You know? So we watched the episode this week where the sister wives actually tied the knot, or I should say, Robin tied the knot and actually officially entered into the family. So I guess we'll start it off here. What are your initial thoughts about this momentous day? Like, how do you guys feel about the day overall? How it was how it kind of came off. Do you think it was a success? Do you think it was kind of weak? Do you think it was awesome? Not so much? Too much?
You go first, Amanda.
It's so complex for like a 20-minute episode. At one point I thought like, oh, this wedding has really fizzled out. I don't know. I think it was when they were all of the adults were like monologuing, and it was like I was like, is this the last episode? Like, what is happening? Yeah, a lot of narration. And then when it ended, I thought like a lot went down from start to finish, and it was a very complete. We started off the day, and it was very exciting watching them get ready, and then the sun goes down. So was it a success? I think so. What does that even mean? Did it entertain?
What does a fourth wife's second marriage successful wedding look like? I guess, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, because it's kind of crazy too, because it was like that blowout wedding. Like it felt like that big blowout wedding that you very well, like even for somebody who is a monogamous, divorced, and then they decide to do a second wedding, they might not opt out to do like the bank loans for the next wedding. You know what I mean? Like that first wedding, you go crazy. You have the limousines and all the flower girls have gold lapels and everything. But for the second one, like, all right, well, see you at the Denny's. Yeah. Yeah.
I think typically people don't go as out for their second weddings. But that's not to say you can't, obviously.
Right.
But the way Robin was acting as if it was a first wedding and she was a first wife, it was like
Yeah. And I do think, like, I did get that, like the replacement vibes from
Yeah.
the ceremony. The way the ceremony kind of came off, I did get the replacement vibes. I think we talked about it last week that she was actually replacing Mary, usurping Mary's position. And I
Mhm.
definitely felt that way, even with the way she was like trying to act like the tender, newly innocent. Ah, it's so cute. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I'm getting married. Today is the day. Like, come on, lady. You're an old hat at this. You got 3 babies. Let's get it
I was
together.
gonna say, except for when she was being locked out of the car by her kids, and like,
Oh my
I
God.
love that part.
The sabotage on Robyn's day was what I was looking for by her kids. I'm not 100% convinced that Janelle or Christine didn't send the wrong address to the invitation printer, because how did that happen? And why was
Mhm.
the solution to just send Cody off to go put like a jar with balloons, like on some poor person's front lawn? Like, that was like not even a landmark. It was literally someone's house. They put
Right.
the jar of addresses in front of.
Yeah.
Here's some.
Oh,
No,
go
go
ahead,
ahead. Go
James.
ahead. No, I was just going to say, here's something a little crazy. When I didn't pick this up, like I didn't get it until I rewatched it to prepare for this. But he said that I am not at the address. I'm just close to it. So he couldn't even find the address. So he didn't just put it on some rando house. He literally put it on somebody's random ass porch. Like you go outside and there's a thing out there. Like who the hell would think that they're having a wedding reception at my house? You know what I mean? With 200 people showing up on you know what I mean, on your steps.
And 100%, if someone came and put a jar with a bouquet, a balloon bouquet in front on our front lawn, my husband would be like, "What the hell is this?" and put it in the dumpster.
Right, right.
Okay, am I the only pushover here? I would be like, oh, okay, yeah, they put the wrong address, you know. Good luck. I hope you find it.
Well, oh, of course, I would. Yeah, if they said, "Hey, can we put this here?" Blah blah blah. But if it was like how it's portrayed, like Cody just like sneaks up on him and just puts
Right,
plops
right.
it down, I'd be like, "What is this?" Like,
Yeah, he just rides up and stops. All of a sudden, the door flip open. He drops the thing and takes off. Like, what are you doing, bro?
like
Oh, you finna have an empty reception hall, dude.
yeah,
Messing with me.
I would be like, "This isn't the 1800s. Is there no faster way to communicate a venue change to your guest list
Right, right.
than leaving a jar?"
Well, apparently they left the jar and he took a like a little homing pigeon and threw it up in the air
Yeah, yeah.
while they were doing the smoke signals because
What's
nobody
Harry
had a
Potter's
phone.
owl's name? Was he delivering the news?
Right?
I just think it's actually great. It's like such a classic part of the episode that we look back on. And
Yeah.
it's like such a like of course they didn't double check the dates. Of course. Thank you, Kikalika.
Yeah, keep the link with the $5 super chat. Initial thoughts. Cody can never say he didn't love Mary. He's infatuated with her this episode. No way he's that good of an actor.
He
Ooh,
was
keep the link
into
with it.
her when she was affixing his bow tie. Absolutely. 100% agree.
Mm.
He does look pretty into her in that scene. I was thinking of the final line when he says at the end, "I love you deeply and I love you truly." I was
Yeah.
like, I wrote down like wow in my notes. And I still right now I'm like, is that him just being emotional, I guess he would say? And it, you know, what is the truth? Is he madly in love with Mary? Because usually I believe him when he says that he was just acting back then.
Yeah. Well, I think it was.
Oh, go ahead, James.
No, I was just saying, like, I think it was just a different kind of love. Like, I think that he was full of love on that day because he was excited about what he was about to be doing later that night. And, you know, getting married, of course, not the other stuff. But
Yeah.
he was excited about the prospect of marrying the woman he wanted to be with. So I think he would have did that with any one of the wives who was standing there. You know, that kind of display, that gushing of emotion.
I had a comment that basically echoed exactly what you just said. Like, because in my video that I put out earlier, I said that to me, Cody seemed like bewitched by Mary. Like to me, you cannot show me that scene and then show me the scene where Cody says it was all an act or a performance or blah, blah, blah. But then someone commented like, I think Cody was so excited to get married, so amped on Robyn that he was just like a boy in a candy shop. He would have been totally if it was Christina fixing his tie, let's say, he probably would have been just as into her, you know.
That's what
Right.
Not Ladylike in the chat is saying. I think he was thinking about Robyn and projecting in the woman in front of him. It would be interesting. I think the question would go to Leon, right? Because that's like part of the hilarity of that scene is, did that happen other times, or was that just when he knew he was about to like bang Robyn that night? You know,
Love, like, the perfect framing of Leon in that scene where they're like getting all mushy gushy to each other, and then it's like, dude, you're child, like, come on.
Right.
and Leon's like chomping gum, like,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
so weird.
Well, because that's kind of the thing too. Like, I don't know if Leon was buying it. Like, you know what I mean?
True.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if she was sitting there saying, "Wow, this is amazing," because nothing is going to change with the way that my parents interact. I think she was looking at it like, "Oh, Dad is putting on the bull crap," because here we go. Because he's all excited. He's all excited about doing this little event with Mary, this little soiree with Mary. But then he's going to go out with Robyn later tonight, and I'm not going to see him for a couple of days, if not for a few weeks, after he goes on the honeymoon.
Mhm.
And it does occur to me that maybe this is like the Mormonism strip club. You know, how people go to the strip club, they get themselves all worked up, they come home and they tell their spouse or they love her to pieces. You know what I mean? Maybe this is like how they do it. This is how they get down. This they thing. That's they freak thing. You know what I mean? but you guys had mentioned earlier about the kids. Let's talk about them children. Let's talk about the chilling. What do you guys think as far as, because you really, like, I'll preface it this way. We really don't have a chance to see Robyn and really truly interact with her children throughout the series. And you only really get to see her with her kids in a couple instances. When we first meet her and she's taking the kids to the park and they out there being badass kids. Like, she has a badass kid. I'm going to say it. She has a badass kid. You're not taking your bike to the park. Just screw you, Mom. And the kids riding off with the bike. Don't lock your brother out the car. Lock you out the car. You know what I mean? So we don't really get a chance to see it. What do you guys think about like Robyn's interactions? What we see her and how she does her thing with her children?
I noticed in the one scene that she was like, "I need your help, Aurora. I need your help, Aurora. I need your help, Aurora." Like, she said it 3 times. And then Aurora comes like trotting along like, okay, I'm here. I think pre-nanny, I think Aurora took on a lot of being Robyn's second fiddle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, parentification. I mean, I love seeing Robyn with her kids. I think it's one of the more authentic versions of her, and she's like often angry in the early seasons. Like, she's like clearly overwhelmed.
She is frazzled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very accurate word. Yeah, she's very frazzled. I think it's like pretty hilarious, and I also think it's mad when she like wants the OGs to like just somehow know that they need to come help her. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they should have known. I go back and forth, but it sounds like she sorry, I was looking at Pages. Thank you so much for the super.
Right.
Sorry, I just there. I was like, oh, we have a super on the screen.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just dropped it in there.
Sarah's like Wilson on Home Improvement.
Oh yeah.
Right. Little squirrel. I know.
Maybe in the season finale, we will reveal my face.
Right.
I think Robyn not being with her kids as much as the show goes on hurts her with the fans, and because we're not seeing authentic Robyn because she's more authentic with her kids. But sorry, thank you so much for that. I didn't fully get the super read, but
yeah, no, I'll do it.
That was
Paige
super
Green.
sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, the $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Off topic, I had PPD bad. I finally laughed when I watched Amanda's videos. When I wanted my husband next to me, I put on James's videos. When I was ready to clean my cave, Sarah's Sister Wife playlist was my soundtrack. Thank you all. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you
So
so much, Paige. I appreciate that. That's sweet.
That's really cool.
After I had my daughter in 2019, I discovered the reality gays and their recapping of 90 Day Fiance, and that got me through maternity leave. So much
Awesome.
love to you, Paige.
Yeah,
Right?
shout out Paige.
Struggle
Thank you
is
so much.
real.
Oh, there's another one. Kika Lingo is a $20 super chat. Robyn, I don't understand why no one is helping me. I don't want to share a house with these women. I need a daddy. I don't trust them with my kids. Janelle, in my mind,
I didn't raise my
in my mind,
I'm not raising you.
I didn't raise my own kids. I'm not raising yours.
That is fair. That is a fair assessment of these situations.
Directed to the point. Thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate you.
The thing is, though, that Janelle is so honest about how much she loved being able to pawn her kids off on Christine. So I don't think that Janelle would be take issue with that statement. I think she'd be like, yeah, it was great.
Right.
That's why I love Sister Wives.
Yeah, it was very transparent. It was very transparent on Janelle's side. Very transparent. But I will say this: like, I think that is part of the trappings of, or at least what I saw with some of the polygamous standpoints of, we're going to have a bunch of kids. If you can't deal with the kids you have, stop having more kids. Like, if you're already stressed out and going crazy with 3 kids, the last thing you need to do is put a 4th, 5th, and 6th on top of that. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with you, looking at yourself, even people who don't have children and decide that, having kids isn't for me. There's nothing wrong with that. I applaud people for being honest with themselves, for saying, like, this is something I don't want to do. It's not for me. I'm not cut out for it. I don't have time. I don't have the patience. I just don't want to do it. I respect that. Like, I don't think that that's something that you should be forced into doing.
One
But
of my
it sounds
best
like
friends
that's
is child-free by choice, and she's never been happier.
right.
She loves being an
Oh,
aunt
it's
to
fine.
all of our kids.
Their hair's still black, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man.
Pete,
Got a couple more. Teresa Skinner, 1999 super chat. Thanks for keeping it real. No problem on this reality TV kick. I look forward to it every week. Also, we look forward to having you every week, Teresa Skinner. Bad Mama Jamma. Sarcasm for fun in the house. 999 super chat. After the dress debacle and cake, they, the OG3, were not doing anything for Robert. Smash the like on all 3 channels, peeps. Thank you so much, Sarcasm for fun. And I 100% agree with that. What do you guys think about the way they arranged the babysitting for the wedding?
it sounds like they didn't arrange anything.
Right. Was it a plan? Was it a planned ditch? Like,
Yeah, it's so funny because it's Robyn. The way that they edited this episode together was hysterical to me, because we go from Mary, Janelle, and Christine being like, oh my gosh, we got to get pampered. It was so nice. It was so relaxing. To Robyn's like, oh my God, I didn't have any help. And I was running around doing all this stuff. And I'm like, this is like real good TV right now. To Robyn lamenting that she doesn't have any help, cut to Cody with the balloons in the jar. Like, that's all he was trusted to do. Like, we don't trust Cody with literally doing anything else.
Right.
Yeah, I love that Robyn's coming in and she's not married yet, and she's already pissed that they're not helping her more and that she's not getting more babysitters. And, I'm sure she's thinking to herself, I moved all the way down here. Oh, did you remember that sacrifice I made? And nobody even thought to arrange for my kids.
Yeah, and I feel like this is also a really good example of Robyn's just tunnel vision of she's only ever able to perceive how things are affecting just her. And I think that's why she's so terrible in polygamy, because rightfully so, I can't imagine getting married, having like to also get my kids ready, and I would be stressed out too. I don't like fault Robyn for being stressed out and wishing she had help. Another person commented on my video, where was her mom? Where was her family? Why was it only up to the OG3 to help her out? Like, does she not know anybody else that could have helped her?
Right.
But Robyn didn't care to look at it of the fact that she's marrying into a family that has 13 existing kids, 3 wives, and a husband. And she isn't the only one that has to get ready for this event. But she was all she cared about.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, like, okay, if you're Christine or Janelle, you're like, I have 6 kids. I can't think about yours. I can barely remember that I have all mine. Like, oh my gosh, like imagine having to keep 6 kids alive. And then somebody's like, you didn't arrange for babysitters for when I was getting ready.
I know. And it's like exactly what Kikalika said. Like, I didn't raise my own kids. I'm not raising you.
Right. I don't know what my children are. Like, but I think that there's a direct split between what we saw with Robyn during the course of the wedding versus where we know Robyn was throughout the marriage, with her kids being taken care of. I also think it's kind of funny that you have an expectation that somebody's going to send somebody over to watch your kids when these very people you don't trust normally to watch your kids. So if you're going to sit there and say that I can't, like, hey, I want to see little Dayton, Aurora, or Brianna, I want them to come over and play with my kids. No, I don't want my kids over there with you. Okay, well, when you have something special going on and you're busy, don't expect me to come pulling up and saving your ass. Good luck with everything. You know what I mean? So I can understand why they did what they did. Because if you're not going to trust me with your kids, then don't trust me with your kids.
Yeah.
You know?
Everything we've ever heard the kids say about Dayton, Aurora, and Brianna are how they view them as siblings. They miss them. They wish that they could interact with them more. And when Gwen was doing her reactions on YouTube and her Patreon, she would say things like Robyn kept them from the rest of the siblings. Like they wanted to interact with them. There was an instance where Solomon wasn't allowed to go into Gwen's bedroom because she had like a sword collection or something. Like she was deemed unsafe. And at this time, Solomon was like definitely over 10 years old. So he wasn't like an infant that was just gonna like crawl up on a sword and like injure themselves or something. But like, so the perception I've always had from the kids that have spoken out is that Robyn very much tried to isolate these kids. So it's like exactly to your point. It's like you're lamenting the fact that you don't have help, but you also won't allow these family members to help you either.
Right. Well, what do you think, Amanda?
Well, I was going to say, I have a little bit of a devil's advocate in me growing up a preacher's daughter. When you have like when you have a large family type situation or a situation where you have like a close church around you, or I don't know, I'm just thinking back to all the weddings my dad did growing up. Excuse me. I think there is an expectation that somebody's going to watch the kids, because like there are so many times I watch the kids or my sister watched the kids or somebody at the church watched the kids or some uncle or aunt or some cousin of the kids watches the kids. And so the devil's advocate in me is a little surprised that not one person is there just thinking about the kids or kind of taking care of the kids at her house. But that being said, then we get this bit where the OGs are like, she sent us off. So like, we're busy doing what she told us to do. So then I think I fall with the people in the chat who are like, oh, it's on like Robyn's mom, it's on grandma at that point.
Right.
Yeah. Where was live-in babysitter at this? Wasn't she like just like live-in childcare at this point?
Right. Where was Super Nanny? She was getting her hair done too. Because she was at the place. I saw her standing around getting her hair done too. Or standing around watching the moms get their hair done. But I do think that there's, just to kind of expand on what you guys are saying, I think that there's also a point where if you won't bring your people around for them to interact with the family, you can't be upset when the family isn't thinking about them or missing them because they're not around enough for you to think about them or consider them or miss them. If I'm always in a position where I think that you're going to take care of it because that's what you're telling me, oh, I got it, then I'm not looking for your kids because you got it. You know what I mean? So if that's how Robyn kind of tried to build it out, because at this time she wasn't working, she was freshly from wherever she was, I forget where she was, and then she moved to Lehigh to be around a block away from the family, and she kept herself isolated in that home to herself with her kids. They probably weren't even thinking about looking for it because I bet you, like even to Amanda's point, I bet you the other kids like Savannah was being taken care of. I bet you like Christine's kids were all being looked after, and they probably didn't even miss a beat or consider like and start asking the question, who's got Savannah, who's got Truly, who's got. They knew who was doing it because that's what they were used to doing.
Mm-hmm. I think that points to how poorly integrated into the family she was, and how, despite her protests, that it was like, oh, we were engaged for 87 years. It's like, okay, lady from the Titanic, get off it. Like, despite that, I do think it was, as they later on, or Janelle later on admitted, it was like, shut up, kids, and deal with this. We're just shoving her into the family. Because Janelle says in this episode, if she would have told us and we would have known, we would have dropped everything and went to her house, which tells me that what she should have done is just called them that morning and said, can I drop the kids off? Can I come pick up McKelty? Like whatever her options were. And she didn't call. And I don't think she was integrated with the family at all.
As a mom, I will not hesitate to ask for help.
Right.
Like, I am not going to wait around for, like, my mother-in-law lives locally. My family lives across the country. But if I need her for something, I am like on the phone, like, and she's happy to help, but she's not a mind reader. And I can't be like, oh my God, to my husband, like, why didn't your mom ask if I needed help? Like, no, I am not too proud to beg.
Yeah, that's like around my family, like when I'm with my sister, she will literally just be like, Amanda, watch the kids. I'm going to the restaurant, whatever it is.
Exactly. Like I need 20 minutes to like not, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh, and even speaking about that, pro tip, when you get to the hospital and you have your baby, don't try to be the hero because sometimes you're in the hospital for a couple of days. For the people who don't know, those who know. When you go to the hospital, you have your baby, they will take your baby to the nursery and they will do things and they will give you the opportunity to get your rest. Take that damn opportunity. Don't try to be super mom and have the baby up in the room with you because you want to have a kid around you the whole time. Trust and believe you will have that baby by yourself all the time, alone, and nobody's coming to save you.
That's actually really good advice, James, especially if you've had a C-section, because you physically cannot at that point.
Right. You just can't do it. So take your time, get your sleep, get your rest when you can, because the baby is not on the schedule. The baby don't give a damn about what you got to do in the morning. No. So just make sure you keep that in mind.
James, I'm gonna be in the hospital one day with my wife in labor. I'm gonna be like looking through my notes app, like James said, "Don't be the hero." I'm just gonna be patting myself down. I can't be the hero, babe. You gotta help yourself.
You got this.
So many things they make you do after having a baby. They do not make you take the baby sooner than you need. They are there for whatever you need.
Right, and they're helping you. That's what you were saying. Like, don't be too shy to ask for help. If you need help, you need assistance, you need a damn break. You need to call somebody and try to get that break because it's all about your mental fitness. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint because you have plenty of time to sit there by yourself at 3:00 in the morning and watch this child because nobody's coming.
There will be
so just take advantage
for that.
Right. Oh, give a super chat to Jamie DeRose, $10 super chat. Was I the only one watching each scene to see who was wearing the dead butterflies in their hair? Christine was the only one I didn't see them in. LOL.
Definitely saw them in Robyn's, and I think Mary too, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the super chat. And then another one from Kika Linka, $2 super chat, holding us down. Why didn't Cody watch Robyn's kids? Because Cody don't watch kids.
He could pay someone $20 an hour for that.
Yeah, I think like whatever season it is, when they're gonna make like a really huge deal out of him watching the kids, it's like pretty obvious he's not equipped and does not do that.
Oh, you mean when he almost burned the house down, cooking some food, and
yeah,
it was
and the horrible thing with Truly, yeah.
Just even speaking of the shared responsibility, because I do want to get into something that was kind of touched on a little bit, but get into the shared responsibility. When we were talking last week, because I do the book club tonight on Sunday night, but I was going through it, and as I was going through it, there was something interesting that I found with regard to in Janelle's chapter of matrimony, where we were talking last week about Robyn saying, hey, you know what? I deserve to have equal rights and see him as much as everybody else because I'm a full wife and I had a long courtship, etc., etc., etc. Cody actually addressed it in the book. And this is what he had to say. Check this out. He said, the most important of these is that it's neither appropriate for a married man, it's not appropriate for a married man to be spending excessive time with a woman who is not his wife, nor is it fair to the other wives to sit at home during a long courtship. And that was his comment on long courtships, why it wasn't fair and why he shouldn't be spending too much time. So if you can respect the fact, because he goes on to say it's disrespectful to the wife if he does a lot of time over at the other person's house. So if it's disrespectful to the wife to just spend a lot of time over at the other house, isn't it disrespectful if you're spending the night over another woman's house? You know what I mean? So I thought that was interesting too. So we did a full circle here.
And you know what's really interesting too is a lot of other polygamist like families that I guess I've watched on TV, because I don't know any in real life, but it's the wives that are dictating the husband's schedule. We see that on Seeking Sister Wife. We on Big Love, that was very much a thing. My Five Wives. It's like the wives actually are the schedule planners for the husband. And we see Cody kind of bemoan in these later seasons the fact that he doesn't have a say in things. Like he doesn't have his own space. All of a sudden he wants his own lot, supposedly because he wants something that's his. But it was never supposed to be that way. Like the wives, from my understanding of the setup, are supposed to be the ones dictating where the husband is that night.
Right. And that's one of the things that you can say is like the trappings of it, because it sounds like they have a lot of power and a lot of say in that situation. But as Cody demonstrated, how much can you really tell somebody where they can and they can't spend their time? You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, well, you're supposed to be at my house. It's Tuesday night. I'm Christine. You're supposed to be at my house. Yeah, but I'm going to spend all day at Robyn's house. And I'll see you around 6:37. Good luck. You know, have dinner ready. We'll eat promptly at 7. We'll be in bed by 8, and I'll be out of your house by 5 o'clock in the morning to come back to Robyn's house. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like there's control, but there's not really a whole lot of control.
Yeah, they don't have that power, because we see when Christine puts her foot down finally, like God knows how many years later on the show, he punishes her and he basically admits on camera, I'm not gonna be romantic with you and I'm not gonna bang you because you're calling me out and you're not letting me call the shots and blah, blah, blah. And I will now punish you. So that's what happened when they called him out. Like they didn't have any power. Now Robyn, I think, does now, but they didn't.
Right. Yeah, he totally told them that they was going to be vitamin D deficient.
Oh!
So, I mean, you going to be walking around, I can't breathe. Drinking tons of water. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think that that's part of it too. Is that especially as you start to get older, and like how much are you bouncing between people's houses? So not everybody is getting attention, and it was even kind of talked about in Big Love. I did see that where my man was ready to give himself a heart attack because Viagra is heart medication, by the way. So he was ready to give himself a heart. Yeah, that's when the when Pfizer first did the NDA, the new drug application for Viagra, it was actually to treat hearts. And what they noticed was, as a side effect, it created the blood flow was stronger in other places. Yeah. So they redid the application. They resubmitted the application, and that's how you now have Viagra, the blue pill Viagra. But it can create heart issues, especially in men who overindulge, and so you have to be careful with it. You don't want to have a weak ticker and be playing around with.
And I don't think Christine nor Janelle nor Mary, I don't think was complaining about lack of like physical intimacy, because I think Cody could throw a pity bang around like whenever. Like I don't think that was hard for him to do. But like actually being present in these other households was incredibly difficult for him to do. I think even Tony mentioned early on McKelty and Tony's Patreon, when they were interviewing like McKelty's siblings, Tony made mention once that when he started coming around, Cody spent all of his time in the garage. Like he was never like in the house hanging out with everyone. And I think that's how he is at Robyn's house too. I have no reason to believe he is a engaged parent or husband at Robyn's house. I think Robyn lets him just do whatever he wants there. It doesn't hold him accountable.
Right. Well, I think that that's a fair assessment, because I think part of the fantasy at Robyn's house is that that's the place of no problem. So when he goes over, he doesn't have to deal with parenting issues. He doesn't have to deal with anything that's going on, because she's trying to create that oasis type environment that makes him want to keep coming around. That's why he likes spending so much time over there. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a secret. Like, I don't think it's because she got the magic, the magic lasso that's holding him down. I think it's
what?
The magic lasso, because it's like whoosh, and then she pull him in.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I could have called it other things, but I'm trying to keep it PG at least.
I don't know what I thought I heard you say. I've been taking notes on what to do if I am in labor, not to give men too much Viagra. Look out for Sarcasm for Fun's dog's boner, by the way.
Yes, I just saw that. If you see me down, I have my dog right here. I don't know. Hold on.
Oh, hold on.
Oh,
so
okay.
This is
so cute. What's your dog's name again?
Chloe.
Oh, Chloe.
Oh.
Say hi,
so cute.
Yeah. So that's why I keep looking down, because she's corgi, so she can't quite reach up to the camera height, but
the fur baby got to take care of him. Kika Leak with another $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Kika Leak. You hold us down. Robyn's face in the latest season says it all. She wanted the princess experience and hates that she's got the wife experience now. She played herself. Yeah, she did.
Mm-hmm.
She did. Good point. Yeah, the plan worked too well. Like that's when you come up with that, like, I'm going to get them all out of here, and then all of a sudden they leave. They're like, what have I done?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cody
be careful what you wish for.
Right, exactly. And the problem is too, like, here's the thing that I think nobody ever really talks about. She got him out of the house, and as I said, she created the environment, the place of no problems. So when he comes over, he's expected not to deal with kids, not to deal with problems, not to deal with issues, not to really deal with her, except for in the bedroom and the fun times, the good times, maybe watching a movie. Now all of a sudden, she has him there daily, and she has to bring up some of these issues. And he very well could look her in the face and say, "Look, I'm not here for that. That's not what we do. That's not what this is." So you can keep that to yourself. But what do you guys think about the? Because in this particular episode, there was speaking of Viagra or the Niagara, as they say around some parts. What do you guys think about like this being like the testosterone episode? Like this was like high octane for testosterone. Like you had the guys coming in doing the bro hugs and like the bicep curl, hand gripping, hey brother, and they come in and trying to show the muscles off. And Cody got to explain that he needs to be around his bros sometime because he don't want to be around any estrogen soaked areas with the women.
You know who belonged there is Kathy Farron's husband, because Kathy in the chat's like, my husband doesn't need no blue pills.
Kathy saying her husband hold it down. He's fine. Yeah, I haven't played with the blue pills either. Them things will kill your ass.
I thought it was really fun. I did wonder if production made him do that shot where he stands on the foot of his truck and is like, "Let's go, boys." It seemed a little forced, but I actually, when you first said, James, what did you think of the testosterone overload? I was like, was it a testosterone?
For him? Yeah, for Cody, hell yeah. Homeboy was like, "Yeah, bro," and then like guys, look. Aside from like movie stuff, guys don't get together and start doing pull-ups in living rooms. Like that's not what we do.
Thank you for pulling us in, because I'm like, this can't be real life, right?
Right? Nobody does this. You know what I mean? Let's get together and stitch a sweater together. Like this isn't something that we do. Come on, bro. Let's check out the biceps. Like unless you like jacked out on steroids or something, there's no way you're getting with your buddies. Now, there might be some excessive beer drinking. They might talk about all the pull-ups and sit-ups they do, but not a sit-up will get done. Like, it's unless you're like, this is something I would expect from some 20-year-old guys, not necessarily like middle-aged men trying to figure it out, because this is how you get an early hospital visit. You mess around and tear something up, you get all, go to Snap City.
I think it's pretty clear that Cody did not mentally age. Like I feel like he went on his mission and that was the point he stopped maturing, like 18 years old. And he is like, the way he is like vindictive and punitive, it's like so immature. Like grown-ups like don't react that way to people, especially people they are supposed to care about.
Right.
I mean, he says in the episode, I feel like a 12-year-old. So yeah, I'm not surprised at all the way they're acting.
Yeah.
Especially Cody.
Poor Logan was like the only adult at that bachelor party.
Yep.
Right. And the crazy part to me is that, because I kind of talked about it yesterday with regard to, they said the book, and it really hit me yesterday, or just preparing for the live yesterday, that this was a period of 16 years in the making. So literally, and I know we've kind of talked about it and maybe even glanced over before, but literally Cody has 3 sets of kids that he deals with. He has the first set, like the OG, like the original kids, Logan, McKelty, Aspen, Maddie, Hunter, like those group of kids actually had a father in Cody. Like I think that he was like hyper involved with them. He was involved with a lot of the wrestling and things like that. So he was that dad. Like, because that's one of the things that Janelle said that she found attractive about Cody, was that he was so involved with the kids and so involved with his children and this, that, and the other. And I think that he was hyper involved with that group of children. But as the kids started getting older and he was introduced to Robyn and he started getting a little injection of that, or giving the injection, whatever. When he started doing that, he found himself in a situation, a very weird situation, where he started to drift away from his kids and towards Robyn in that household. So what do you guys think about that? Like with regard to the kids, because again, this is what Janelle said. She's like, "Oh, my 16-year-old son was there, so this is the time that he's getting married." Bro, Logan's almost out the door at that point.
At the point in season 8 when the anthropology students come to visit, and their big observation is that Kody seems to connect more with his male children rather than his female children. And I think Madison echoed like, we just don't have a lot in common. We don't like the things that my dad likes. So he connects with the boys because they like the things that he likes. And so it's particularly sad to me to see how his relationship soured so much with his sons, in particularly because they seemed to have known a dad that nobody else knew.
Right.
His daughters, like Gwen will talk about, Kody would take them for ice cream and things like that. But there definitely is a division between the childhoods that the like older group of kids had versus the middle group of kids versus the youngest group of kids. Like there's very distinct differences in those upbringings.
What did you think, Amanda?
About the kids' different upbringings,
Right.
the different generations. I think it's interesting. I was on like a random Reddit thread one day, and somebody was talking about how hard it can be if you have one of those parents who like was a crappy parent to you, but then they have like maybe like a second family with a different spouse, and then they're like parent of the year to those kids or that child, and how much it can hurt. And so yeah, I think it's like such a complex, it's so complex, and we see on season 17 and 18, the devastation of it all. We continue to see it, in my opinion. So it's just it's hard. It's hard for the kids.
Right. Yeah, I think that's kind of an interesting point because one of the hard parts of watching that type of relationship, especially if you're one of the neglected kids, is you see like when Gwendolyn was talking about Kody being there for Solomon and Ari's first day of school. I think part of the pain that she felt was recognizing that, my dad can do it. He does know how to be a good father. He does know how to be present and there after school and ask how your day was and encourage you and all that. He can do it. It's one thing when you're a part of a family where the parents don't do it. It's another thing when you realize that they don't do it, but they could do it. And I think that creates a problem in and of itself. Big shout out to Kika Linga, $5 super chat.
Kika Linga, thank you so much. Just coming through with super after super. So generous and kind. Thank you.
Yeah, you're amazing. Kika Linga, everybody's amazing because you guys are helping us out and watching us and stuff, spending time with us. Otherwise, this could be a dry live. But Kika Linga with the $5 super chat.
Yeah, we want a super wet live.
Yeah, right. Super wet live. Gotta have that drip. Having young kids and a young wife give him a delusion. He's a man child, and I can't be old. I have a 3-year-old and a hot wife.
Yeah, I can see that because Kody thinking like, if I can still produce children, I'm not aging. I think Kody very much has Peter Pan syndrome.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And for you fellas, that is not the fountain of youth. Making babies is not the fountain of youth. That's how you age faster, actually. If you're involved with your kids, you want to throw some years on your ass, go ahead and have 15 children, see what it does to you.
I was watching MILF Manor. Don't judge me. Or judge me. I mean,
which one? The first season or the second season?
Last night. And there was like a 46-year-old woman, and I'm like, how are we calling her a melt? Like, she is not old. But then she was like, she has like a 20-year-old son. And I'm like, impossible. And then I'm like, oh no, that's possible.
Very possible.
Yeah.
That is very possible. And she could have been an adult having children. This isn't like a
Right.
teen mom
It wasn't
situation.
like a teen pregnancy. She was like in
Right,
her 20s.
right. Yeah, MILF Manor. Woo. TLC is trying to do it though, ain't they?
Oh my God. I did not
Okay.
think that show would get a second season, and yet here we are.
Is it good?
I feel
I've never
like
watched
ended
it.
early.
No, it's so bad, in fact, that they don't
No.
even have a host. It is cell phones, and they get like text messages of like what to do and what activities to do. So they couldn't even get someone to be like, I will host this show.
Yeah, right. I will throw my dignity aside and host this show. What is it about?
Last
Yeah, so-
season, the big jaw-dropping twist was that the moms were dating their sons. Like, their sons were the contestants. So they were all dating each other, not their own, like,
Oh,
but
God.
their
Okay.
sons
Their sons
make
were
up
present.
the
I was like,
pool
what
of-
kind of show is this?
the sons
Like,
made
what
up
the
the
shit?
pool of bachelors. This season, it's just some group of guys. And then the twist at the end of the first episode is that the guys' fathers are also entering the mix as potential bachelors for these MILFs. So it's a
Okay.
little bit
Okay,
more
that's-
palatable than last season, but it's
Yeah.
still really icky.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
no.
need to check that out.
Oh yeah,
No,
totally.
keep it all the way in stack. Last season was crazy because you had the moms, like, they would blindfold all the moms because, again, their sons were there and they knew their sons were there. It wasn't like, who are these strange guys?
Yeah.
They knew their kids were there. And they would blindfold the women, have the guys stand there, and the women would go up and touch the guys and like caress them and stuff and try to figure out which one was their son.
Amanda
Inappropriate.
horrified.
Inappropriate.
You know what this
Yeah,
show
well-
needs, Amanda, is your recap.
Right.
Yes. I was like,
Yeah,
ooh,
yeah,
I
that
love
shit
a
was
hot
crazy.
mess. Give me that.
It
That
is
shit was crazy.
horrifying.
Yeah, they had another lady who was sleeping with her son's best friend, and she admitted it. And it sounded like it's one of those things that sounded way better, I guess, in her mind, and maybe when she's talking to her friends, telling a cool story about how she got this young guy and her son's friend come over and knock her bottoms out. But as it turns out, when she says it in a room, like, have you ever slept? Like, tell a big secret that you've done. And they talk about like all kinds of the best way to do fillet somebody, the best way to do all kinds of stuff to their sons. Sons in the room. There's some things I don't want to know about my mom. I'm sorry. But
Yes.
they went through this. And the woman was like, yeah, I slept with one of my son's friends. And he found out his best friend was knocking his mom down. Homeboy, he left. He was like, I'm sad. He walks out. He walks straight into the pool outside. I'm like, if they didn't have a pool, this jackass would have walked into the ocean. And the fisherman would have found him 3 weeks later in the net. Because he was done down. He didn't take it. He walked into the pool and take his clothes off. He just walked into the pool. Like, he was upset. Like, he was messed up.
There's also a part where one of the sons acts out oral for in front of his own mom as well as all the other moms. It's so uncomfortable, and everyone watching is like, there's no, why did we ask for this as a society? What gap did TLC think they were filling here? And yet here we are.
Right.
And then certainly this was a one-off, right? Like, you could maybe forgive the people being cast because maybe they didn't know what they were getting into fully. Like, like, okay, we'll give them a pass. Where did they find 6 more women or however many more women that said, I saw the first season, I want to be on the second season?
I'm doing that.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah.
It was insane. Like it was such a sad. Like I started doing like reviews on it when it first came out. I got to maybe like the second or third episode, and I had to stop. I was like, this. I feel dirty because it just gets to the point where I'm like, did somebody at TLC lose a bet, or are they intentionally trying to outrage everybody? Because I saw the thing with like they hired like they talk about predators and stuff, and they have like an actual predator now on 90 Day Fiance, and you know what I mean. So are they doing this shit on purpose? Maybe they're doing it for us. They like these guys need content, so we just gonna roll out some foolishness.
Yeah, I don't know. It's almost like someone in the higher ups is like playing fast and loose with like what's gonna get them like completely taken off the
right. How far can we go?
Yeah.
But keep the link on the $10 super charge. Keep the link is coming through. Keep the link is said my inner asshole. Pardon my French. Kind of hopes that maybe Kody is so engaged with the tenders because he knew Robyn is so inept. Wow, that's a good point. The OG3 can handle it. Robyn not so much. I don't think he's that involved, but
burn alert.
Yeah, right. She was like, I'm not trying to burn nobody. She's standing there holding a can of gas and a box of matches. She's like, hold my beer. But that's a good point. Like maybe because Kody is over there all the time, and that's something I never really considered. Kody is there all the time, and he's seeing her with these kids. Maybe he's like, look, if I don't intervene, I don't like doing this, but if I don't step up, CPS is coming through. Because there's no way, that this is going to work with her. You know, so that's a good point. Maybe it is something that he's keeping an eye on.
I could see it.
Okay.
Oh no, I just said I could see that being the case.
Right. Dragon Tears for me. $1 super chat. Dragon Tears, that's a cool name. Off topic for Amanda. I have that exact material you have hanging there.
Wait.
I use it for my suitcase handles, so there's easy to find. Love it. Oh, and so they're easy to find. Love it. Made me smile.
Ooh, James. Yeah, actually, I get people that ask a lot about that, and the version I bought isn't available anymore. But if you type in like 90s water cup into like Amazon or any like whatever clothing, or just Google, there's like lots of different shops that sell them now. But yeah, I have pants too, actually.
Nice.
Okay. Amanda coming out with the whole outfit. She's like, I'm gonna kill him with this. I'm gonna kill him with this one. So they finally have the event. So everybody gets to the event, and then when they start to talk about why they didn't film the special ceremony, all of a sudden Robyn jumps in. Hold on, y'all. I got something to say. It was a special ceremony. We were so in love with each other, and it was amazing. And we don't need to talk about it because it's a secret. What do you guys think about them keeping it? Well, because I guess they would have to keep some of that secret. In addition, a lot of the relatives didn't want to be filmed. So does that make you feel good or bad that your relatives don't want to have a documentation that they were actually at your event? Yeah.
Well, I know that I know that this was not an LDS wedding, but I know that temple weddings in the LDS church, you have to be you have to be Mormon to attend those. Or you can go to the reception if you have like extended family. That's not, because I went to a reception for a couple that got married, but I was not able to attend Hi, Chloe. I was not able to attend the ceremony because I was not LDS. You literally are not allowed in the temple. So
okay.
I don't know if it's something similar that like you have to be like of the faith, or I don't know.
Well, because I heard that before, that you have to be a part of the faith in order to do the observances for the ceremony. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like, I don't know. It's just maybe because I'm mainstream and I grew up Catholic, but whole idea that you have like a secret ceremony with like that Mason type Illuminati type stuff. Like there's somebody standing with a goat head. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very like they revere their ceremony so much that they don't want like outsiders who maybe don't believe in the same thing to even bear witness to it. So it's very secret, very private.
Yeah, we have Paige in the chat saying if they're getting married in the temple, you have to be a member to go in and see it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, to a point, I can kind of understand that because if you are part of a faith, you don't necessarily want people who aren't going to support your faith or what you're doing. I get that, but I would extend that out to the actual services. So if you're getting married, you don't have to have 200 damn people at a reception in order for you to consider yourself married. Have the people that you would have at your ceremony who would support your unification of your family, and that's who your wedding should involve. It shouldn't just involve people who like drinking, free open bar, and getting free food. That's just
Melanie brings up a good point. She says, meanwhile, Catholics be willing to make everyone do the stand-up, sit down, stand.
Oh, you working out? Yeah. You getting your sweat on. You gonna be there like this.
Ceremony goes on for a long time. I've been to many.
Because we have church first. Like, so you have like the before you actually have the wedding, you have a mass.
Yeah, it's a whole service.
Yeah. So you can get here. The bonus is for the Catholics. Well, Catholics know that you have you have a requirement. You're supposed to go to work church every week. Some of us do, some of us don't. But backsliding. But you could have a ceremony where if you go to that's why you always ask: is it a service or is it the ceremony? I mean, is it a mass? Because if it's a mass, that means I don't have to go to church on Sunday. If I go to a wedding on Saturday, then I don't have to go on Sunday. Because that's my obligation. So that's why you want to go to the wedding where they do the whole shebang.
Man, I thought Protestant weddings were too long, and the Protestants combine the sermon into the wedding. We're going to do a call to Christ before we do the vowels, or in the middle of the vowels.
Like God, they get the invitation to the wedding or something. So we're gonna call him, y'all, because he don't know that y'all getting married. But yeah, it's serious. It can be a long time. In the Catholic weddings, like our masses, you will get up, you will get down, you will stand up, you will sit down, you'll sing a little bit, then you'll talk, and a little bit of Latin gets spoke, and then they start passing out the booze and wafers. It's amazing. Aaron Shea with the $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Aaron, so much. Extreme Cougar Wives ran so MILF Manor could walk.
I love this comment. This cracked me up when I read it because it's like such a put down to like MILF Manor, like because it's reversing the walking and the running. Brilliant.
If and when you watch MILF Manor, nothing can put that show down. It's in the gutter. Yeah.
Well, like you said, they have some hosts because I've criticized Suki. I've said some stuff about it. What are you doing, Suki? You have him on the couch. But the truth of the matter is, anybody who does these like tell-alls and all that kind of stuff, working for TLC, you have to be willing to sacrifice a little bit in order for you to get that paycheck. And those paychecks probably are pretty substantial. No cap. They're probably a good amount of money. You figure, like you said, Sarah, MILF Manor can't pay somebody enough to go there and read a damn question. Who wouldn't get paid $100,000 to come out and read a question? Today, you guys are going, with your mama? Nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? So to me, that's crazy as hell. That's crazy. But big shout out to Kathy Mosley, $10 super chat. James, please share Cody's Diesel Jeans model title he took from Christopher Titus. That came out yesterday. Somebody said that the Diesel Jean model was a bit that Christopher Titus used in his set, his stand-up.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
who's Christopher Titus? I'm out of the
You know
loop.
what? Cody is so unoriginal, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it does track. It
They
does track.
Who do you think he stole the sacrifices I made from?
Like, I thought Beer and Skittles was a Cody original, and then a bunch of British people were
Yeah.
like, no, like that is a saying. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah, apparently it was a game. Like Skittles is a game like you knock
Something-
over.
yeah.
It's like a little bowling game that you play on tabletop.
yeah. I was like, who eats beer and Skittles together? And they're like, no,
Yeah.
Sarah, it's like a saying here in the UK.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you because when I first heard it too, I was like, "Yeah, you need to go over my man's house and do a well check
Yeah, what
because
if
there's somebody in the basement."
you snack?
Yeah, right. Anybody's eating beer and Skittles, like he's standing, like he's standing, like it puts the lotion in the bucket, drinking beer, eating Skittles. Like, you know what I mean? This thing's going on at that house. What is this? Kikalika. Did anyone clock Kikalika with the $10 super chat? Hold us down. Oh wow. Did anyone clock Maddie said they were never gotten their hair done?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I've never heard that. I buzzed a boyfriend or two with that trailer park special, but those poor teen girls thinking getting a set and curl was an event. Wow, I've never heard that. You said you heard about it, Sarah?
Oh, well, I
Thank you,
did
Kikalika.
note that in the beginning that they were saying how this was the first time they got their hair done. And they were so excited. So
Yeah, I took note of the hair this episode actually. Specifically, we get an interview with the kids where I noticed Maddie has like early 2000s emo hair with the scrunch, the scrunched hair, and then the bangs pulled back, which was very, very end. And then they cut later onto Robyn, same exact hairstyle, scrunchy curls, and then the bangs pulled back with a little clip.
mm-hmm.
Wow. I mean, well, I guess you have so many kids, you can't really afford because I was kind of feeling the same way when they were talking about, oh, we're going to the movies. Remember the UNLV? You talked about them earlier, Sarah. When the UNLV anthropologist came down, they went to the movies, and then Cody didn't know whether he had one of the club cards or whatever, the discount cards from AMC, and it struck me even then. I was like, that's because they don't go to the movies like that. Because there's no way you're taking like 50 people to a $10 movie. Like you have to mortgage your house, take all them people. And then you gonna put them in line for concessions? Like, you gonna get that ham sandwich out your pocket?
No. Oh, James, you got muted.
It was also right when you were getting really animated. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I know.
Rewind.
I got the Kremlins.
Yeah.
I gotta update my entire setup.
Can I just talk about my favorite line of the whole episode?
Please.
Sure.
Okay, everybody always talks about this episode, the eggs, because everybody notices that like Robyn's like, oh, I have to learn how to do Cody's eggs. But can we talk about the celery? Robyn says in this episode, Cody loves celery. Every time he comes into the house, Cody's like, do you have celery? I don't know why that line cracked me up. What was that?
And then he's like preparing celery, and Robyn's like, oh, I think like the kids want some too. Like he doesn't even have the forethought to think if anyone else wants a snack. This father of now 16.
Well, there's that. Like that's not his problem. These are your kids. You need to go get your kids. With a big shout out for Sarcasm for Fun with the $9.99 super chat. The sacrifices we made to watch you, Cody, was much worse. We will never get that 18 seasons of time back. Thank you to our OG3 hosts. Remember all to smash that like button and subscribe if you're not subscribed.
Yeah.
Shout out Sarcasm. So awesome.
Right? Holding us down. So you guys wanted to talk about Seeking Sister. Well, I guess we should close out with the big wedding. You saw Cody and everybody dancing and rocking out. And this was also the time when his friend Brett decided to leave, and Cody said that he never felt as alone that day with surrounded by his 4 wives and 15 kids, and his friend had the audacity to leave him. Say it ain't so, mama. Like, yeah. So what do you guys think about that?
Cody's such an odd duck. like,
right.
Like, I appreciate his candor in these moments, but what a thing to say on your wedding day to your 4th wife. So you have all these wives, yet the saddest, most alone you felt was watching your best bud hit the dusty trail.
Right. And he took his biceps with him. So, Cody, it was a sad day on the ranch.
Do you think Cody was just trying to like give a good line for the episode? Like, like that was early workshopping of his drama.
I hope so.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was either that, or maybe he was like, because you guys said that he pulls from like other mainstream media. Maybe it was either that, or I was sad to see him leave. That was the loneliest time I had of the day. Or it could have been, I don't know why I can't quit you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why can't I quit you?
It could have been, never go against the family.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe Brett knows too much and Cody doesn't want to see him walk away.
Right.
Yeah.
Love to see you come, but I'd love to see you walk away. Yeah, but I mean, it could have been one of them. Like, and that's what I mean. Like, this was one of those for Cody and the Sister Wives TLC. This was like the testosterone episode because he was so amped up when his friends showed up, and all of a sudden he's coming out. He's doing pull-ups. He's excited to go out. He's herding the fellas. Come on, fellas, to me. And he's leaving to go out nowhere apparently because they don't drink. They're not going to the strip clubs. I don't know what they did. So
yeah, what did they do? What do you think they did?
Pull-ups.
Right.
They just drove around.
They
had
had
pull-ups in the car on this thing on the side. Oh, come on, who can do the best car pull-up?
We're gonna drive around the block. When we hit the stop sign, everybody's gonna jump out the car, run around the car 3 times, do 4 push-ups, and we're gonna get back in the car and drive off, yo.
They were leaning out of windows with like a baseball bat, but they were like, "Oh, this would not be pleasing to the Lord." They didn't go through with the smashing of the mailboxes. That would have been too far.
Well, you have to go back and put them back on. That's the
yeah. They probably mooned a few people. They're pasty butts.
So, did you guys have anything else to say about the Sister Wives before we move on to Seeking?
No, I think that pretty much
wrapped it up.
Oh, one more thing, and then we should go on. I do think in this episode, I give him a hard time, but sunglasses headband is one of Cody's best looks to me.
Yeah. Well, it's the easy one. It's the easy one that he can get away with. Because otherwise, he'd have to pull out one of those, like them stretchy, things that.
Yeah, a
like
headband.
Actual headband.
A real one. Yeah.
Right. And get himself in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm so sexy.
But yeah, let's talk about the craziness on Seeking Sister Wife.
Yeah. So last week was.
He's been there for 6 weeks.
Yeah. We're talking about Garrick. Mr. Garrick and Danielle. This guy was married to Danielle. For those who are uninitiated, this guy was married to Danielle for years. He has 2 kids with her, 2 boys. And they were dating one woman and a business that apparently he doesn't give a shit about because he went away for 6 weeks. But he was engaged to one woman. They couldn't convince her to come up from Brazil. So they eventually broke up. He gets another woman, meets her for the first time, proposes. He actually gets to, rotate her tires because now they're engaged and they're going to have a family. So he gets to knock her down. Boom. And then all of a sudden he comes back to America, cries because he's leaving her, goes back down to Brazil. And he spends 6 weeks down there saying it's his wife. And his wife turns around and drops him with the, I'm pregnant.
Okay, thanks.
Oh.
Call you in a couple days.
Oh.
Did you guys see the look on his face when she said, "I'm pregnant"? He was like, he did a lot of blinking. He was like, "What?" It looked like he broke.
Ah, damn.
He looked like he was searching, like he was in that, like he was about to shut off.
It's 2024. How does he not know that you're like at least supposed to like smile when your wife or partner tells you they're pregnant?
Yeah.
Right. Well, because he wasn't planning on making her pregnant. He was like, "I was almost done with you." Like, what do you mean you pregnant?
Seriously.
I got to start over.
I mean,
I
so
wasn't
they
coming.
go to Mexico. If I have this timeline right, they go to Mexico. They meet and propose to Natalia. He gets back because in the episode where she tells him she's pregnant, she said it's been 2 months since we proposed, and he's been in Brazil for 6 weeks. So he was back for like 2 weeks, knocks Danielle up, and then bounces to Brazil. This dude does not want to be with Danielle. He is trying to escape his life.
Right. And again, for those that are uninitiated, Danielle was his wife for many years, from college up until this point. He divorced Danielle so that he could marry the first woman he was messing around with in Brazil. Danielle at that point was saying that she needs to get some kind of paperwork because, and I've always suspected this, she walked out of that marriage with zero of assets, zero of marital assets. So she walked out with nothing, and she's relying on Garrick. Garrick had said when he was dating Bert in that previous season that if he made her pregnant, he was going to move down to Brazil.
Yes.
And he was going to leave his kids. I can't have my kids down there while he's sitting in the room with his other 2 kids with Danielle, his wife.
Yeah.
He was awesome. That dude is awesome.
He is trying to find a way out of his life. Like, do you guys remember that Sherry Papini case where she like faked her own kidnapping? Like that is the next thing that Garrick is going to do is like fake his own kidnapping.
Right. And or death. He'll be like that one.
I'm calling it now.
Yeah.
I would pay Garrick to just stay kidnapped.
Right.
Leave these poor women alone.
I mean, and then I read, because I went down a Reddit rabbit hole, someone was theorizing that Garrick probably was really pissed when he found out Danielle was pregnant, because if you look at it like this, so they get divorced, their only hope, because they're committing immigration fraud, right? If they're trying to bring a woman over, because polygamy is illegal, he's still married, and so how can he bring someone over on a K-1 visa? So they think that they're doing this workaround, send Garrick off to get married, so they'll bring her over on a spousal visa as opposed to the K-1 visa. But if Garrick's old wife turns up pregnant, then that disproves him not being with that woman anymore. So they're not going to approve Natalia for a visa.
Right. Which technically they shouldn't approve her for a visa anyway. Oh.
And so Garrick was probably like, "You motherfucker."
Yeah. You're spoiling my fun.
That's a good point. Maybe the blank stare is like, because like everybody's been acknowledging like, oh, this clearly was not part of his plan.
No.
But that's a good point, Sarah, that like it's really maybe like messing his plan up.
Yes.
Right. Well, here's something that I was thinking about too. Like, what do you guys think? Well, let me do this super chat real quick. Kathy Mosley with the $10 super chat. I would love you 3. Compare the Brown family to other large families. Example, the Radfords of the UK, British couple that have 22 kids.
One mom? I've never heard of this family.
Oh my gosh.
That
I'm
beats
just
out the
holding myself
Dunkirkers.
right now. That poor lady. Whew.
Yeah, right.
Whew. Did either of you have you watched? I briefly Googled when I saw this, and I saw that they had been on like Channel 4. Have you all watched them at all, the Radfords?
No, I will Google them after.
Yeah, that is a 22. That's super interesting.
Oh, that
22
puts
kids.
Cody to shame.
Do we
What
have
do you
any
think
other
always
large
like?
families we can compare them to?
Is it just the one wife, the Radfords, or is it multiple wives?
I don't know. I know, like, so there are like Fundy families. So there's like the Platts on Platteville. They're 9. The Duggars with the 19 is pretty
Right.
big. And then you have these families that have like multiple. So like the John and Kate plus 8. There's I don't know if it's the Doricos or Derricos. Because I don't watch the show, but I know that this woman keeps every time she gets pregnant, she has like triplets. So she has like, she has like, I don't know, like 10 kids or 12 kids, but she's had like 4 pregnancies.
Oh,
I'll tell you what. The next time she got pregnant, I'd like, joke's on you, Jack, because I got it tied off.
right.
So you need to call the daddy. How about that?
Yeah.
There's no way in
It's
the world.
called like doubling down with the Doricos or the Derricos or something. But yeah, that I don't know if they're still on TLC, but they were on TLC for years.
James, per your question about the Radfords, it appears to be just one mom and one dad. But what's crazy is if Wikipedia is right, the parents were both adopted as babies and met as children. I don't know if that's implying, I don't think they were adopted siblings, but that's just somehow how they met. But they had their first child when Sue was 14 and Noah was 18. So little scandalous there. But yeah,
so they're the Ryans. They're Justin and Becky Ryan.
Is that what? Oh
Because
gosh.
Becky was maybe 16 according to the show when she got married. And but in that there's like a website called like TonyAlamoNews.com. On that website, it claims that she was 15 when she marries Justin. So
And that's probably accurate.
Yeah.
The Ryans are they like I'm like
stalkers,
grossed out
right?
and disturbed. Yeah.
I just started Baby Reindeer. So I'm only like halfway through the first episode, but I'm like, this is stalking what the Ryans are doing.
Yeah, the Ryans are inappropriate.
And the new gal, that went on a date with them. She was so smart for not telling them where she lived.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I have a video coming out about that, and I absolutely lose my mind when they're like, why won't she give us her address? I'm like, ask Stephanie why she won't give them. Like, are you crazy? Are you crazy?
Y'all show up. Y'all pull up on folks.
Yes.
But big shout out to Aaron Shave with the $1.99 super chat. Garrick is the devil. I miss the boring Winders.
I miss the Winders too. I follow them on Instagram, and I'm so happy because Tammy just had a baby. Sophie, I think, is the other wife. She's had a couple more, so they're growing their family, but they have not added another wife. But yeah, clearly, the show was going a different direction.
Right. Mzadi with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you for covering Seeking Sister Wives. This show is nuts. I'm addicted to you all. Yeah, Seeking Sister Wives is insane.
I'm equally horrified. And then we cut to the Sherwoods, and I'm crying when this dude announces that he has kidney cancer. I'm like, son of a bitch. And then we have this really raw moment with him and his friend, and like, I'd like to think that this is what guys do when they're out together. Is like they have emotional heart to hearts, really healthy masculinity at work. But like, oh my God. So he's just trying to set her up for if he dies. Is that what's going on here?
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a moment.
Yeah.
Kikalika with the $10 super chat.
Oh my gosh.
Will somebody please tell me what Danielle sees in him? What are the rewards for this game you are desperate to win? He's got dead eyes. Yeah, he got the double eye.
Yeah.
A God complex and a puppet mouth. I'm effing can't with these people.
So true.
Yeah.
The consensus seems to be, and I agree with it, that like, she's too good for him, but he does not treat her that way. So like, what do you two think she does see in him?
Mm-hmm. I
I,
I think she's
no,
really scared for like what if like the possibility of not being with him. But I think I got the sense from this last episode that she now has a taste for what life is like without Garrick. And I think she sees that she can do it without him because I before I don't think on any planet she would have considered not going to this wedding. But now
right.
she's like, I don't know, it doesn't really seem like she wants me there. I don't know. I'm not going to go. Meanwhile, this dude is getting married. He isn't like, where are my sons? Why aren't can you at least put them on a plane? He doesn't even ask about them.
Right, right. Well, I think that there's a point that why does she stay with him? I think she stays with him because they were together so young. Like they got
Yeah.
together when they were in college, and she's been with him for, arguably for her entire adult life. And she may not realize what life could hold for her beyond Garrett. Like she's poured so much into him, she's focused so much on him, and now that he's kind of moving on, she's kind of lost in the idea that she would have to do it herself and realistically, romantically start over. Um, with regard to the kids and her taking a stance of not going, I think and this is what I was going to say earlier. Like, I think it's kind of weird that you have two boys who are about, 16, 17, 14, 15. So you
They're
went about
teenagers for
15
sure.
years. Yeah, you went about 15 years, painting them sugar walls and no mishaps, no mistakes, no accidents. Now all of a sudden, he finds this woman. He's ready to spend his time down there. He come back for a little bit. All of a sudden, boom, bap, boom, I'm pregnant. What? That I think that's part of the shock. Like I went 15 years. I didn't think you could have any more children because I've been blowing it out the whole time. Now all of a sudden, I'm ready to move on, and here you come with a bundle of joy. There was a movie, Silver Bullet. Most craziest line I ever heard with paternity ever. Woman told her boyfriend, her lover, "I'm pregnant." He said, "Look, your bun, your oven. Thinking a good time, baby. I'm out," and walked off.
Wow.
Crazy shit. And I think that's exactly what Garrick might wind up doing her. Your bun, your oven. Thinking a good time.
I actually appreciate that sentiment. Like when I just had my son is going to be 1 on May 8th, which is funny because I think Danielle, their new kid, is going to be 1 like a couple weeks after my son. So they were born at like the same time. But after I had my son, no way on earth I want to have another kid. I got spayed. I had my tubes tied. Because it is my bun, my oven. And I'm like, no more. I'm done.
And we're done with this.
Yes.
And that's the thing. Like, I have two too. And I made a conscious decision to have the two I have.
Mhm.
And I made a conscious decision to stop having children. Because I don't have to, I have a boy, I have a girl. I've seen myself in both genders. I don't need to see myself in any other way. I'm done hitting the copy button. There's enough of me walking around. I've contributed my DNA to the universe. It will continue. It'll go on, and I'm good. And there's also parts of it. Like I said, if you have to know your boundaries. So if you don't want to have any more kids, there's nothing wrong with you making a decision for yourself. Especially, as the old timers used to say back in the day, it's messed up as it is. Mama's baby, papa's maybe. So ladies have to make that choice for themselves on whether this is something that they want to do, because you can get pregnant and nothing can change for him, but everything will change for you. So you absolutely have the right to decide what you want to do with yourself. Mm-hmm. I'm 100% on that.
Mm-hmm.
But Kathy Mosley with the $2 super chat.
Thank
One
you.
wife and husband.
Oh, I think that's in regards to the was it
Radfords?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Ooh. 22 babies.
God bless that woman. My mother-in-law is a triplet, and her parents had, I think, one more kid after triplets. I'm like, there's no way. I would be like, lock up shop.
Yeah, it would have been over. I'm like, we all did it. We done. We're finished.
You know what I think about? I think about how like back in the day, it was like more common to have bigger families, but also back in the day, like kids would die left and right. Mothers would die. I mean, we still unfortunately have a problem with our mortality rate.
Yeah.
But just the idea of like, I'm just going to keep risking my life just over and over. Like, my goodness, what a woman. I can see why she's on TV. She's interesting, you know?
Yeah, and we know that like Christine had that horrific miscarriage that she like hemorrhaged and almost bled out, and then she went on to have another baby after that. Like, no wonder like that was so traumatic for her.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine like if you have 22 live births, I have to imagine there's probably a miscarriage or just statistically something along the line.
Right. And there's a point too where your body could give out, you know, because a lot of times like even with on TV, you see like the Robyn births where she just breathes heavy 3 times and she pushes the child right out and everything is fine, hardly sweating. You know, there's a lot of screaming. In my experience, there's a lot more screaming and hollering and cussing going on. But I think that there's a downplaying of how serious childbirth is. Childbirth is extremely dangerous. It's dangerous for the baby. It's dangerous for the mom. It's dangerous for the dad if he gets too close. You know, it can be very hazardous. So, you know, like you said, having 22 pregnancies, you're putting like every time you're doing that, you're putting yourself out there. Like it's crazy to me. I mean, God bless you. If that's what you choose to do, I'm not here to judge. Do you, boo boo? Not gonna be me though.
I'm like, but why?
right, exactly. I'm not that pressed about myself. I don't think I'm that wonderful that they need 22 more me's walking around. Yeah, the world will survive. Kika with the $5 super chat. Kika coming through. His own family can't stand him. Your family can't stand him. He can't stand you, huh? Make it make sense. There you go, Kikalika. That
Kikalika, I'm gonna name if I have kids, speaking of kids, I'm naming my child Kikalika because holy crap, so with the supers today.
And she keeps dropping truth bombs.
Yes,
like
and
everything she's saying is pure gold. But
Facts,
Derek seems to not realize that he has nobody if Danielle says enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's crazy too because if something were to happen, and I've always said this, like the weird thing about when you step out, being the other person, if something ever happens to you, you don't have that resource in the person you're with. Like if you're messing around with a married man or a married woman, and like I ride motorcycles, you get in a motorcycle accident, you can't call your married girlfriend up and say, "Hey, did you come to the hospital and check me out?" Like, no, she had choir practice. She got to take the kids to soccer. She can't explain to her husband that she's going to go visit her boyfriend. So these are choices that you have to make. And as Garrick is abusing and mistreating Danielle, taking her for granted, if something were to happen, like, hell, I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. If something were to happen to his business, then I don't think Natalia, you lose your business and you lose the ability to bring her to America, I don't think that she's going to be around for you, bro. Like, it's just me. So you might want to make sure you want to take stock of the people who are actually on your side. Because Danielle is putting up with a lot to be with this dude. Mm-hmm. So you guys had mentioned my man with the big C. What is that family?
Shane? Is his name Shane?
Shane, yeah. Shane. You guys have mentioned Shane. You said that you felt a certain thing.
I cried. I was like,
wow. Yeah, I had the exact opposite effect.
Really? That's so interesting.
I tell you why. Man was like, the hell with it. So I'm sure she'll be back. She'll be back. Right. Maybe something clicked off. But with Shane, I looked at it from the perspective of, I thought that what they were doing, there's a part of it that's kind of romantic, that he's trying to hook his wife up before he dies. You want to make sure she's happy. Oh, here we go. There you go. You're back. Welcome. I was like, she's coming back, y'all. Don't worry. But with Shane, I think that there's a selfish part of that too,
Hmm.
because you are sick, and this is an opportunity for you. Like you're in a way by you guys trying to distract yourselves with these other things. You're taking time away that you could be spending with each other, building memories, so that if something does happen to you and you do pass, you have those memories that you can leave with your wife and you can leave with your kids. Two, you're bringing somebody else into the relationship.
Yeah.
And that person, if they get tied in, especially the way Shane, I want you to be 100% committed. I know it's a second date, but I want you to be ready to make that commitment and be, all about the family. And if
Yeah.
somebody were to do that, that's selfish for me. Like if I was sick that way, I wouldn't want to start a relationship with somebody, because then when something were to happen to me, then what happens to that person that I'm leaving behind?
Yeah, it's Shane doesn't have time to let it seems like Amanda is having some technical difficulties, so I'm sure
Right.
that she's working on that. But Shane doesn't have time to let a relationship develop naturally. So he's like really trying to rush things. And
Hmm.
I think that's ultimately detrimental to Ashley for her seeking a sister wife. But and I've seen other people too comment like, really, like if I have cancer, I kind of want it to be all about me. Sorry,
Right.
like I don't mean to be selfish, but imagine having some major health issue, and then also you have to deal with like jealousy.
Right, right. And then what happens? Not even to be an ass, but what
Mm.
happens if he survives and
Yeah.
you hook up with, like,
Oh
the love
shit,
of
you
her life,
didn't die.
and you mess around and make it? Oh,
That's
you ain't that sick. We're
in
gonna give you a couple pills.
Armageddon. The guy like goes because he's going to try to save the world and he thinks he's gonna die, so he goes and like spends all this money or something, like goes gambling the night before, and then he's like he like makes it back, and he's like, oh, like
Oh shit!
wasn't
I'm gonna have
working
people
on.
looking for me now.
Yeah. Amanda said
Yes,
she's
sir.
working on it. She had a browser issue. Let me text.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, we got another super from Kika Lika,
Thank
$5 super
you.
chat. Again, maybe Shane knows she can't handle the baby. He wants someone to raise his kid. But they
Yeah.
got two kids. This is his second baby. He should have figured that out when he pushed another one in her. Like I've always said that. Like guys have to be just as responsible with how we conduct ourselves too. Like it's not enough for you to sit there and say that you got a crazy baby mama, because most likely she was crazy before you made her a baby mama. So you should be trying to. You got to be a good steward of yourself and who spend time with. Thank you, Kika Lika.
Yes, thank you.
But yeah, I like because when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, that's so." Like it just rubs me the wrong way, just because like I feel bad for his situation and I understand what he's trying to do, but to involve another person, and then I'm not a big fan of if your relationship isn't working out, you go out and find another person before you break up. Like I'm not a big fan of that. I'm surely not a fan of if you think you're gonna die, you go out and find another person.
True. Like get life insurance or
Right,
something.
right,
Get write your will. Or like
right.
you don't have to go searching for your wife's next partner.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and he's crazy. And the messed up part about it is that he's trying to set her up, but he's crazy jealous
Yeah.
about her being with somebody else. Like he is not about the polygamy lifestyle. As much as
No.
they sit around and try to logically think about it, he is not about that life.
No.
You know?
This show is delivering this season.
Yeah, yeah. They started out early too, so I don't know what the like because you figure this was all in the can. So when they were doing the editing and stuff, they were like, okay, we gotta how we gonna arrange things, what storylines are we gonna go with? That this finale must be in freaking sane for them to start off where they are and to be where they are this early in the season. Like
Mhm.
it must get crazy. Like I think that Ashley, that's Shane's wife.
Uh-huh.
I think she's going to turn around because he's always trying to discourage her from dating this new woman. but
Mhm.
she seems like she's into this lady. So she's like, look, no, I'm not giving her up. And he's having that conflict now. Like, what if she likes her more than she likes me? And this, that, like, it's her choice. If you're giving her a choice, that's the whole thing. Like, if you're going to open your relationship up, you have to be willing to accept the fact that she might choose to be with somebody that you don't necessarily agree with, because it would be her choice.
Yeah.
So what do you think of because of course she had the Davises. What did you think about the Davises pushing a young buck into the
I mean, on no planet do I think that Danielle wants to actually bring in another wife. I feel like she's been strong-armed into this. And you
Right.
know what's interesting is it doesn't feel like the strong-arming is coming so much from Nick as it is coming from like April and Jen.
Mhm.
Like they seem to be the ones that like really want her to marry another woman.
Right. What's up, Amanda? You back?
Well, who knows for how long? So
Yeah.
I would just don't want to jinx
I think-
it.
I don't know if the criminals maybe crawl from my PC into yours or what the deal is. So I'll apologize. You've been contaminated. Yeah, but
Seriously.
we were talking about the Davises from the Seeking Sister Wives, and how they're kind of strong arming Danielle into making that choice to start adding to the family. So, are you ready to start dating yet? What do you think about that? Did you see that craziness?
I did, and I thought, I'm like, is this a charade? Is what I thought. Can they not see what I can see? Danielle
Right.
is like, yeah, I guess if you're gonna force me to, I'm ready. And they're like, I'm not sure if Danielle's ready. It's like, thank God for the previews where we see Brother Billy is going to start asking the relevant questions I need somebody to ask them. Like, why must Danielle marry your next girlfriend? Why must you rush through the next girlfriend? Are you that dire? Like, is it that hard to pay the new mortgage?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Kathy Ferrer said, Amanda's in the relocation program. They found me.
The Ryans
agree
have
with you.
found you. They're
Yeah,
coming.
right. The Ryans. Right. Or maybe it was the Shane people. Yeah. The guy you talking about show up to Stephanie's house. Maybe they left Stephanie's house, went right to Amanda's.
Mhm.
Thanks a lot. Now I gotta get tested. Walk off.
I was gonna say, and how pissed was Becky that she's like, now I have to go get tested.
Yeah, right. Like, you should have been getting tested, genius. Like, if you're gonna open up your relationship, pro tip, if you want to open your relationship up, go get damn tested. You need to get tested, because even if you trust the person that you're with, like your husband or your wife, you can't trust the person that doesn't have a formal commitment to you and your family. Like, that person might not care. They might be out doing dirt too. So you should be getting tested.
Mm-hmm. Add that to the list, everyone, of things we've learned today, friends.
Yeah, right?
Don't be the hero when you're giving birth.
Don't overdo Viagra.
Don't give too many.
Right.
The Viagra pills apparently will mess up your heart. And also, what was the last one?
Get
Get
STD.
tested.
Oh yeah, always get routinely tested. That's the most important one. How did I forget?
Right. If you out there running wild, get tested. That's right.
These are just
Be
good
safe.
life hacks.
Right. Because otherwise, you don't want them showing up. Like, it's one thing for them to show up because they think you cheat. It's another thing for them to show up because you hook them up with a package. Okay?
Remember that?
That's going to be a
episode of
totally
The
different
Office where
conversation.
Michael calls all the people he's ever been with because he thinks he has herpes.
No, how did I forget that one? I can't remember it. That sounds amazing.
Wait, who is this?
It's really funny. It's he has to like tell Pam's mom. He calls Jan. He calls
Oh, on
Who
The
is it?
Office.
Wait, what show is this?
The Office. It's
Oh, okay.
Michael has like a pimple that he thinks might be herpes. So he doesn't go to the doctor or anything. But then Dwight like convinces him that he needs to like tell every partner he's ever been with.
I mean, that's the responsible thing to do. Like, I'm
It is, but maybe wait for a confirmation, a diagnosis.
yeah.
His heart.
Well, you want to be able to give them some definite news, like, "Hey, guys, I have this." Not, I woke up this morning, I was on WebMD. Like, no, nothing ever good comes from WebMD. But yeah, with the Davises, I 100% agree. That's the one thing that I've been saying the entire time. Like, I don't understand. Okay, fine. Like, I just want Danielle to look at them and say, "Look, if you guys want to start dating other people, that's fine." What is his name? Too Short.
Nick.
Nick, you want to start banging people out? Go have at it, horse. Cut them trees down.
Yeah.
But I'm not marrying nobody. Like, that's all it comes down to. I don't agree to marry people. I don't want to be tied to somebody. You want to expand the family? That's great. We can move more people in, throw them in the bed that we had custom delivered. That only 2 of them exist. Okay, great. But I'm not marrying anybody. I don't think she should be tied to other people's mistakes. Like, I just don't. Like, I think that's a dummy deal.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that they're using her. Like, I think that's their way of securing finance.
No, and like, here's Nick over here. Oh, I'm not going to get married, but you will be legally tied to this person.
Right.
That we as a group will. It's like, are you kidding me?
See, when he first presented it, I thought, oh, okay, that's cool. That's progressive, because it's like, no woman is going to be in that power position of being legal wife. They can be married to each other. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But what if they don't want to do that?
Yeah, why is Nick in the power position?
Why does Danielle have to do this?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, big
oh, thank you.
$10 super chat from SL. Thank you. No message, just a love. Appreciate you, SL. Holding down for us. Appreciate you. And I will say this. Like, I think that there's a point where if Nick doesn't want to marry him, I don't want to marry him either. I don't want to marry him. I'm with you. I want to be single too. I want we all be single together.
James, I know you were saying that like as Danielle, but for some reason, it came across as you saying that like you don't want to marry Nick either. It was really funny.
I don't want to marry Nick ass either.
I don't want to marry him either.
Homeboy ain't working nowhere. Like, you gotta have a job if you want to be with me. Ain't no romance without finance. How about that? Like, but it's just crazy to me because I don't like the fact that they're browbeating her into getting married. Like, if you guys are about this life, then you should be about this life, and the commitment should be strong enough to hold you together. You shouldn't have to force somebody down the aisle in order for you to stay together. Like,
no.
It's starting to get weird. Like, it went from kind of quirky and cute to like, this is starting to become a pattern of abuse. It's like an abusive type of situation.
It's like, we just can't have nice things because this was my family that I was like, hey, whatever, say la vie, different strokes for different. If they're happy, they're happy. And then it's like, okay, we just can't have nice things.
No,
a bunch of psychos.
This show is not going to show us like a healthy polyamory family. Okay, that is not what they are making money off of. So there's always going to be, I'm side-eyed looking at the people surrounding Danielle, young Danielle, because if you're in a relationship, if you can tell that if it's a big thing like bringing a new partner in, a big life decision, you can tell if your partner is not fully on board. And there are some things that you need to both be on board with. And so it's totally on them as well. People sometimes give Danielle a hard time, but it's also on everyone in that relationship that they're just allowing her to do this thing that she clearly does not want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
So what do you guys think about the Ryans? I know you mentioned the Ryans and them kind of stalking the young lady out, and her making the wise decision. I applauded her. Like, you go, girl. Don't be giving freak jobs that you meet on the internet your address, because they can continue to show up to your address. They put that shit in their GPS. They just keep popping up at your house, especially if it don't work out. And you do one of them, okay, well, thank you very much. You got to pay, you walk out, pay the bill, like, I'm out. And you go home, and all of a sudden they show up to your crib. Like, you don't want that. So, and then, like you had said, this lady is the one to show up on you. Yeah. Howling at you on your step.
Justin and Becky. Justin is so uncomfortable to watch date.
Mhm.
And Becky, I
won't tell anybody. Give me some tongue, baby.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's just I don't like it, and I hate that they have like 6 kids, and I'm glad they at least aren't having their kids be part of the show, but it also creeps me out that, you know, Justin was like, "Oh, there weren't that many women on like the polygamy dating sites, so we just went on a regular dating site." And like this woman, they had to like explain to her their dynamic, and so that kind of seems like a little deceptive to me. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, well, in fairness, old girl is about that life because she already expressed that she's more than willing to date a married man or a man that's in a relationship, but she plans on usurping that relationship. So she's not in it. Like old girl, what is her name?
Yari, right?
Yeah.
Wait,
or is
I
it
didn't
White?
read that. I read it as because she at one point says, "I'm just thinking about Becky," and you're right. She does say, "My preference would be that I just date Justin and Becky just leaves." But I didn't take it as like, oh, I guess that is her taking. I don't know. She was confused. She didn't. I liked Yari. I'm on Team Yari. Whatever she did.
Liked her too, but she didn't know like what the like she knew like Justin was married, but like she didn't. I don't know. I felt like she didn't fully grasp that like this was going to be a plural marriage type thing. I don't know. So it felt deceptive because they weren't like getting what they were looking for on these like actual dating sites that were intended for this purpose. So they went on like what might traditionally be like monogamy dating sites, and they're kind of like, "Oh, we matched, and now I'll tell you like what it's all about."
Right, right. Well, because I think that there's a point too where you work with what you're used to working with, and in a situation where you aren't used to polygamy or the concepts of polygamy, in this type of environment, it would be you dating a guy who has a wife or girlfriend, and you either become the side piece or you become the replacement. And I think the impression I got was that she plans on being a replacement. Like she's going to step into that role. And it's not necessarily like, and I'm not faulting her for that because at the end of the day, she's just operating with the information that she was provided. And kind of what Sarah was saying, because they weren't forthright with what they were trying to do and what they wanted, which goes against all principles of you having like these multiple partnered relationships. You have to, like, the cornerstone of that is you have to be honest. Honesty is paramount. You have to be honest. And they weren't being honest from the gate about what it is they were doing, what they wanted, that he was in fact married, and that his wife is not only cool with him having another girlfriend or another wife, but she wants to be a part of their situation, because that's the other step of it. It's not just the fact that he's going to be going over this woman Yari's house and chilling, and then going back to his wife. The wife expects to come over too. And she fully expects, like, this crazy lady wants to be in the kitchen making popcorn and ham sandwiches while you in the back getting blowed out. And then all of a sudden, she's coming in with beverages and stuff. But we're on a tray. You know what I mean? You guys have a good time? Did everybody finish? You know what I mean? No. Like, that's what she's working with. And I don't think she know it. I don't think the young lady that he's dating is fully aware, like, what kind of crazy soup she's about to taste. Because this is a whole crazy soup. You know what I mean?
You're on a roll tonight. Talking about soupies and blowed out. Oh, I'm just the Ryans. I can't with them.
I'm just saying, like, because that would trip me out. Like, if somebody invited you over and said, "Yeah, just to let you know, my wife is gonna be sitting there watching it. What? Whoa. My husband gonna be sitting in the other room.
Hey, some people, what works for
Yeah.
something about strokes and folks,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not hating. I'm just saying that that's something that you have to be prepared for. That's something that you have to get mentally ready for in your car ride over there. Like, that's not something you just pop up on somebody. That's not pop-up news. You know what I mean? You gotta be prepared for that. You gotta be prepared for that. The last couple to talk about is the Saludine family. So they went out on a date. They were actually met somebody, and there was a younger lady. So what did you guys think about the Saludines and the young lady that they met up with?
Well, I think on the one hand, I thought that they were really rude to her, or like about her rather, because they weren't really rude to her, but it was also refreshing to hear is his Naeem? It was refreshing to hear him say that the woman was too young, like that he needed an older woman, that he didn't have anything in common with a woman that young.
Right.
Yep.
That was
the bar is in hell, but I noticed it too. I was like, well, he went out with her, but then afterwards he was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that again. So he learned,
Right. Yeah, mistakes were made. But I will say this. Like, I think that, again, she's kind of in that same category as the other young lady, because she came in and she had that principle, like, I don't understand why we waiting. Why can't we just jump right into it? And she's kind of full steam ahead because she's going into it with a different principle. Like, she's not going into it with the principle of polygamy. She's going into it with the principle of the booty call. You know what I mean? The badge of the booty call.
Please put that on a t-shirt, James.
They were so judgy of her. Like, they were like, oh, like she wasn't like classy enough or like sophisticated, didn't know enough about wine or whatever. She was like, I like fruit one or whatever. Like the one that tastes.
I like fruity wine.
Yeah.
I like my wine that tastes like fruit roll-ups.
Yeah, I thought they were like a little bit judgy about her. Like they said, like her clothes were too tight or too short or whatever. And so it's like, okay, she's not a good fit or whatever. Like that's fine. I want more of his mom because she's just a gem. She drops the one-liners and she's telling it like it is. Danielle Merrifield needs Naeem's mom to like just shadow her for a day and just tell her how it is.
Pull her ass up.
Yep.
Well, because I think that
Danielle.
Yeah, right. This is how we do it. First you get a lawyer, but I think that there's a point where when I watched it, I'll say this. Like, I think that the fantasy of dating somebody who is young versus the reality of dating somebody who is young are two different things. And I think that they were confronted with the reality. Like, yeah, when you sitting on the phone, like, oh look, boo about 24. Yeah, she got a lot going on. She working the Gap. Oh yeah, it's gonna be live. And then when you show up, she's 24. And she's doing what she do. And it's not even so much the age thing. I think part of it, too, is maturity and where she's from and where she's at mentally. But you invited this out. And I give them credit, like you, Sarah and Amanda. I will give them credit because at least they were mature enough to say, you know what, this isn't for me. And I'm not going to drag this out. I'm not going to try to get physical with her and then try to figure out that she's too young. I appreciate that. But at the same time, you don't have to sit there and talk down to her. You don't have to try to make her feel bad. You don't have to try to embarrass her. You chose her. Your dumb ass chose her. If you obviously, because he said he met her in person. So it's not like she all of a sudden became childish. You know, she hit her head on the way into the bar like a Three's Company episode. And then all of a sudden she's back to like 4 years old. She was always who she was, and this is who you invited out to lunch or dinner or whatever. And so you just have to Everybody's been on bad dates. You just suck the shit up. You smile, you grin, you bear it, you wait for the bill to come in. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Pay the tab and you leave.
Mhm.
Game over. You don't have to make her feel bad about who she is and what she's about. She's young. She's trying to live her life. Let that child live her life.
Yeah, agreed. Because Sarah was right. They don't really make her feel bad at the tape, but like she's not gonna feel great when she watches this back and they're like,
Yeah.
fruit snacks. Oh, fruit snacks. Oh, did you hear what she said? Fruit snacks. Oh.
Yeah. Or the fact that they said that they were like squeezing each other's hands under the table or something to be like, ugh, like we just can't even or something.
Right.
Okay.
I can't believe she's so young.
Yeah.
The ironic part of that too is they act like she lied to them to get there. Like
Right.
I'm 45 with 4 kids, and then all of a sudden she show up, she get dropped off by the school bus. Like that's not what happened. You know? Like you knew what it was when she showed up. You knew she was young. And I think part of the draw of them dating somebody who was so young was in fact that when you are in these types of situations and you date somebody that young, it gives you the opportunity to meld and shape them into the person you need to be in that relationship. Because there is certainly a power dynamic when you're dating somebody that much your junior, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So did I forget anybody on the on Seeking? I don't think so, but I could be wrong. I think we talked about
Thank
everybody.
you so much, everybody, for all the supers. So kind.
Yeah, that was amazing. Appreciate you guys coming out,
Everybody
hanging out with
go
us.
with us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
it
luck,
was
everybody, going to
awesome.
watch the Seeking Sister Wife episode. It's like on right now.
Right. Yeah, people probably leaving like, I'm gonna go check this foolishness out. If you haven't started watching Seeking Sister Wives, no worries. You can check it out. I know some people are a little hesitant about getting into a new show. Trust me when I say this is not like Sister Wives episodes where you have to watch it from like season 1 to really understand what's going on. 2, it's way lighter than a lot of the stuff that you would see on Sister Wives. Like Sister Wives, it can get pretty intense. This stuff is just like, what the hell? Like he has the what the F moments. And that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
Or TLC, I think that's their brand. Like they want, instead of TLC, they want to be the WTF. So
They
Seriously.
should change their acronym or their
the little
WTF.
logo.
Yeah.
Right. We're not the learning channel. We're what the hell?
Yeah.
That's her son? Like, yeah. So well, yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Make sure, do you guys have anything going on? Sarah or Amanda, do you guys have anything coming up?
I'll
that
have
people should be
another
looking out
video
for?
out probably Wednesday, but other than that, chilling.
Same. I got a
Okay.
video coming out in a few days. It's going to be Seeking Sister Wife. Lots of stuff to make fun of. So, yeah.
Right. Okay. So make sure you check those videos out. Sarah and Amanda will be having videos dropping in the next couple of days. I'll be having videos coming out as well. Come join me again next Sunday for Becoming Sister Wives. If you guys ever want to come down, let me know. I'll send you a link and you can jump in. Also, we will be back next week. Did I just cut out?
No.
We will be back next week at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday. Make sure you come back and check us out. Thank you so much. Amanda, Sarah, I'm James, and we out.
Bye, guys.
Later.